Black here from Casa Black Gaming, where I get right to the point with all of my guides so you can get back out into the verse. Today I wanted to revisit the Aegis Gladius to offer up options from my beginner build I released a couple of months ago. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and if you need more help or just want to chat about all things Star Citizen, consider joining our Discord channel, all links down below. Now with that out of the way, let's get to it. So the Gladius is currently one of the most meta fighters in the game, at least until there is more of a balance with other fighters of all sizes. But we cannot wait for dream fulfillment. So whether we like it or not, all we can do for now is embrace the meta and enjoy the ride. Speaking of rides, the Gladius is a very fun and smooth ship to fly and do battle with. I'm not the best fighter pilot, so I still struggle with HRTs in this ship, but I die having lots of fun and still able to take out most ships in that range fairly easy, but no fault of the build. So with the build, let's start with the system components as I normally do. For the shield, you'll want to pick up 2 of the palisades, which you can find at Crew L4 or the other locations listed on the swanky little graphic. For the engine, the Atlas is the way to go, and you can pick it up at her L5 and it'll help you get around the verse a lot faster. For the power plant, I recommend the JS300, which you can pick up at her L2. Now you can skip the coolers if you like, as they are not doing much of anything at the moment and are an unnecessary expense until a component revamp is done, but if you insist, I still include the ones I would suggest for now, which are 2 of the glaciers. Remember, the ship components are usually the most money, and these, minus the coolers, will set you back this much. Now if you include the coolers, the cost will be this much. Now on to the weapons. The first build will focus on laser repeaters with the beginner in mind who is not really great at flying and might be struggling with those very early bounty missions. For the nose, I recommend a CF337 Panther laser repeater. Now, while you're buying those, go ahead and pick up 3 because once you graduate and become a better fighter, you'll want to put them on the wings as well. But for the very early beginner, again, still struggling to fly and completing these early bounties, you might do better having 2 Verapuck size 3 gimbals mounted on the weapons. You can pick these up at most weapon shops such as Crew L5. On these gimbals, you'll want to mount 2 of the CF227 Badgers, which you can also pick up at Crew L5 where you picked up those gimbals. Now with gimbaled weapons, you're having to go down a size in weapons, which is a sacrifice for weapons that will swivel to get more shots in on targets. Once you're able to fly and line up your targets more in front of you and no longer need the gimbaled weapons, slap those 2 CF337 Panthers on the wings and do that damage. Alright, so for another build which I recommend as you move up through the bounty reputation and begin doing HRT level missions, I would swap those 3 laser weapons for 3 of the FL33 laser cannons instead. Laser cannons are slower at firing but do more damage on bigger ships. So when you get to that rank and feel like you're struggling, it's time to swap those laser repeaters. Just remember that laser cannons are not as effective against smaller fighters, so if you find yourself trying to fight those later on, you'll want to swap back and forth. As for the missiles, I'm a fan of more, so if 6 missiles is not enough for you like me, then swap out those MSD-313s for 2 of the MSD-322 missile racks, so you can then have 8. Or if you want even more, swap them all for 4 of the MSD-341s and take on 16 size 1s. Now yes, you're going down size in missiles when you do this, so the choice is yours, but many I know are a fan of more versus the little bit of extra DPS they provide, so the choice is yours to mix and match these for however you want. And of course for the missiles, no matter which setup you use, always go with electromagnetic missiles as they are the current most accurate at hitting their target. So if you go with 8 of the size 2, use the Dominator 2s. If you go with 16 of the size 1s, then use Task Force 1s or Pioneer 1s, your choice there. And if you stick with the stock loadout of missiles, then 2 of the Thunderbolt 3s and 4 of the Dominator 4s. And that's pretty much going to do it for this updated Aegis Gladius loadout. I hope you enjoy the ship as much as I do, and let me know in the comments which loadout you prefer and what has worked for you. Remember to be kind to your fellow gamer, always trust animal instincts because they sense stuff, and stay positive, citizens.